only
Yeah,
heard that name in Colombia. I haven't heard it in Mexico. Have not heard it in Ecuador. I've heard it only in Colombia. I've heard also James, or they say James. That's another one.
James.
I
Yeah,
have not
you
heard
too.
that in Peru or Ecuador or Bolivia. Another name that I noticed in Colombia is Byron.
Byron. Yes, that's also
Byron. Another one is
Colombia. Yeah.
Michael, but the natives in Colombia say Michael.
Michael. It's true.
Yeah. And what other names have I heard?
Well, there's a lot
There's a
like
lot, like
names.
Yon.
I only
Uh
have
huh.
her
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
in
yeah,
Colombia.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Duvan. Thank you. First, I want to appreciate you for taking the time to take this little. It's not really a lesson. It's more of a getting to know each other kind of thing. All right.
Yeah,
Um, tell me a little bit about yourself, first of all, and I'll tell you a little bit about me.
sure. Well, as I was saying, I'm from Colombia. Well, I'm 28 years old. Currently, I'm living in the US. I moved here around a year and a half. So, well,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
basically,
whoa, whoa! You moved here a year and a half? You mean you moved a year and a half ago, or you have been
ago, yeah,
in America for a year and a half? What do you mean?
I moved to, yeah, to the US 1 year and a half ago.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Okay, okay.
So, yes, basically, well, I have been here. And right now, in the last month, basically in 2025, I have been like in a transition with my career because I was working in Colombia. In Colombia, I used to work in HR, like
In what?
HR
Nature?
benefits, HR,
A
HR,
an
human
HR.
resources.
Ah, an HR. Okay, okay, an
Yeah.
HR. Okay.
Um, and well, I worked a couple years there. And well, now, yes, this year I have been like in a transition. I was looking for a job here in the US. So initially, I wanted like to take some English lessons, to improve a little bit more, like my pronunciation. I sometimes I can do or I can make some grammar
Some?
mistakes. Um, I feel that I can be fluent, but sometimes I could have like a hard time to express some complex ideas or when I had to talk about complex topics or something like that. So, well, I was in these interview processes with different companies and everything, and I feel that some of them weren't too good, like because my English. But well, at the end, literally just today, I received finally an offer to join to the company. So I'll be joining
You
to a
received a what?
company, an offer.
Ah, an offer. An offer. Okay. To do what?
Yeah, to I'm gonna work as a benefits assistant.
As a benefits assistant?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm gonna start next month.
Next month.
And yes, so now basically yes, I'm in the same way. I'm still looking for taking some English classes, to keep improving. Also to focus a little bit more. Um,
Focus.
yeah, that kind of
Not
stuff.
focus. Focus. There's many.
Yeah,
There's many pronunciation mistakes, and you're gonna drive people crazy. They're not gonna tell you, but
yeah,
you better.
and that's what I wanna avoid.
You
So I
better.
mean,
You
I'm
better.
questioning about.
You better be working with other Latinos because if you work with just gringos,
No, I'm gonna be working with gringos basically. So
you're gonna
yeah,
drive them
that's one of my
nuts.
that's basically my intention. Like to one of the things I want to improve is my pronunciation, and well, yeah, so that's why I want to start taking English lessons. To work specifically. I'm a little
Uh
nervous
huh.
because of that. So yes.
Okay, give me a moment. I'm gonna share the screen. Can you see it?
Okay.
Okay, there it is. Give me a second. Okay. We're going to have a little discussion. This is kind of like a mixed. I want to talk to you a little more. Can you see me? Can you see the slide?
Yes.
All right. I want you to read that for me. Read it as you normally would.
Tariffs explained.
Okay.
Right.
Tariffs. Tariffs.
Tariff. Tariff
No,
explained.
not tariffs. Tariffs.
Tariff.
There you go. Like an E, like in Eric. E.
Tariff.
Tariffs.
Explained.
Say that again?
Explained.
No. Explain.
Explain.
There you go. Never say S with an X.
Yeah. Trade wars and the global domino effect.
Yeah, the global. Whenever you see the El global, don't say global, it's global. The L in English is deep.
Global.
Global. Domino effect. All right. Do you know anything about tariffs?
Yes, a little bit.
Sure. A little bit. All right. Let's check and see what. I have never had this discussion before. This presentation. I use all kinds of presentations, but I always use new stuff that I kind of. So it kind of bores me to use the same stuff. All right. It says here. I want you to read that question on the top.
How do you think the following terms are all interconnected?
Okay. Not think. It's think.
Think.
Yes. How do you think the following terms are all interconnected? Then discuss the questions. Before we get to the questions, I want you to look at the different words there and tell me how do you think they're all interconnected, in your opinion. I want you to explain that.
Well, I will say that all these words are connected because, well, for example, the tariffs are like this. I don't know how to express it, but like, I mean, every country that import or export,
No, imports and
um,
exports. You got to finish with an S.
imports and exports
Mm.
to other countries, they have to pay tariff. Uh, so basically, um, for example, an example is what was happening a couple weeks ago that the US was getting a little crazy with all these things of the tariff. So basically, something like that can cause like a trade war, for example, when the
Right,
countries
right, 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 right,
are like,
right.
okay, so for example, China and the US, okay, so you increase the tariff, so I'm gonna increase them too. So that's when they start like to basically fighting each other, and well, at the end, I mean, all the economy is gonna be affected. So the people is gonna start paying more for some products and stuff. So the economy is gonna be affected. Maybe can affect the inflation.
Never say the
Uh,
inflation. We say inflation. We don't need to say the. Like in Spanish, you do that, but not in English.
yeah. Um, so yes,
Okay.
basically, I will say
Yeah,
that's
it's
that's
amazing.
how they related.
I found it. Yeah, I found it quite phenomenal how countries. I never knew this, but I didn't know that countries were charging more tariffs than America would charge them. Yeah,
Hmm.
and I've never thought this. I thought that the U.S. was the one that would charge higher tariffs, but actually turns out that most countries, if not all, were charging more than the U.S. would charge them. And this is why I understand that they're called reciprocal tariffs.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. So the question that I ask myself is a reciprocal tariff good for everyone, or is this just about um, or is this more about an opinion based, or is it really good for everyone because it's the reciprocal, right? It should be fair or not. Does that make sense?
Well, it's important to know. Um, for example, I'm gonna use again the President Trump. The recently he literally
Recently.
recently he showed like a, how do you say, like a, like a table, with like a
Uh-huh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
showing,
A chart.
yeah, a chart showing
Uh-huh.
like the tariff that the US paid to other countries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, those numbers were incorrect because the tariff, there's some products that have higher tariff than others. So, for example, they were taking those super high tariff in some products. For example, metal has a high tariff for the US. So, for example, some countries
Mm-hmm.
charge like a lot to the US. So they were taking like that number, like the general tariff, but the truth is like the average was like a completely different number. So I mean, there's a lot of, to review there, um, but yes, usually, I wouldn't say that the US pay more than other countries, like
Okay,
in
because
general.
that's what I read.
There will be some cases, but not all of them.
Mm, okay, I wasn't aware. And if they do pay uh more or less, then what is the big deal? They should be straight in, get into business, whether tariffs are higher or not, or how does that work? What is the relationship between tariffs and business? And should it be fair? Why do countries tariff in the first place? If you know what I mean.
Um, well, I will say because also that's related with internal economy. So, for example, sometimes it's gonna be for a country, it's gonna be cheaper, like to import products from other countries than use internal products. So that's gonna affect the internal market, the internal, the internal producers, the internal, for example, the farmers. Sometimes they can be affected because some countries gonna prefer, just because it's cheaper, gonna prefer like import some materials or some products from other countries, but sometimes the quality is not gonna be the same. Um, and yes, and the farmer is the one that is gonna be affected, for example. So usually the countries like prefer like to, like to not import. They prefer, for example, to export to other countries because that's gonna bring like more money to the country. For example, in the case of Colombia, when they export produce that brings like uh, dollars to the economy. So wow, that has like a lot of implications. I mean, I'm not like an expert in economic,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
you
Okay.
know,
All right. Let's continue on to the
general.
next. Let's continue on to the next slide. All right. It says here, what do you think are some impacts of tariffs and or trade wars? Describe some impacts by combining the verbs and with the nouns below and explain. So use the words on the left, the verbs, and the words on the right, which was what we were trying to do in the first place.
Okay.
See what you can think.
Um, so let me see. This Well, I will say that, for example, um, the the a trade war or something like that can hurt the stock market.
Okay.
Um, Also, it could disrupt the global the global supply chain
Supply.
supply the global supply chain. Um, Also, I don't know what is rattle. I don't know
Rattle.
the last. Rattle. I don't know
Rattle
what's
is when you take like what do you call this? Like an instrument, and you go like you shake it. It's kind of like shaking, but not so hard.
okay. Okay. And shrink.
Shrink means to make small, to make it very small.
Okay. Um, I would say that then another impact it could trigger a recession in a economy. Um, what else? Also, one intention of tariff is to boost the homegrown production, as I was saying a moment ago. And what else? Um, also another impact it could be like it's okay if I say like another impact is gonna be like a stream in the consumer spending.
Don't say impact because it doesn't sound right. You have to say impact.
Impact
Yes.
in the like like it will like train the consumer spending because that everyone is sorry everything is gonna be more expensive, so the
Mm-hmm.
people gonna spend less.
Mm-hmm. Can you say the whole sentence again?
As the economy is gonna be affected, so people is gonna spend
People
less.
is gonna know. People are gonna.
People are gonna spend less.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna spend less. All right. How about another one?
Um, I don't know how to use
Rattle.
rattle in this with these nouns. I'm trying
Okay.
to think. I'm not sure.
Think about think about the word tariffs or negotiations or business. Tariffs will rattle homegrown production.
Hmm.
Tariffs will rattle the global supply chain. It's going to shake them. Or I think it's going to rattle the stock market for sure.
Yeah, it could be interpreted like
Interpreted,
it's
not
gonna
interpreted. Interpreted.
interpret it,
No, interpreted.
interpret it
Yeah.
like it's gonna have a yeah like an impact in something.
Mm-hmm.
That word,
Yeah.
the word rattle,
What about boost?
boost, um, uh, the tariff, the tariffs can uh, could boost the homegrown production,
Boost,
boost,
not bust. Boost.
boost
What
the
is
homegrown
boost?
production, like um, to accelerate or
Right.
like to
Right. Accelerate. Yes. Yes.
mhm.
Will boost homegrown production. Yes. Very good. All right. Let's continue to the next one. So we have here verbs, right? We have pass, wipe, mark, and slap. We want to put the correct form to the headlines below about the recent tariffs in the news. So it says here, which news story below would you want to read the most? So
Okay,
first I want you to match the verb to the headline. So where would you put pass, for example?
pass.
It says here, new tariffs force retailers to pass, wipe, mark, or slap.
Mm,
Let's look at A. Let's look at A. New tariffs force retailers to
new tariff force retailers to gonna be a phrasal verb. So to I'm
And
not
these are
sure
really
why.
these are very common business terms, by the way.
Wipe up? No.
No.
Um, I mean, I'm connecting all the words with up. It's gonna be a phrasal verb, but
Yes, correct.
I don't, if we, pass up, if it does a phrasal verb, to be honest, I don't remember what it means.
It
So,
is, but it's not. It doesn't match to the context.
mhm. So no, what I wanna say is like every verb is gonna make a phrasal verb with the word up, with the preposition
Yes,
up,
yes, correct. Yes.
and I don't know the meaning of each one. So
Exactly.
I'm not gonna be able to connect that with
Okay.
the example.
All right. So in this case, you would have to say new tariffs force retailers to mark up.
Mhm.
So to mark up means to, you know, to reprice, but put a higher price. That's what to mark up
Okay.
means. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Look at letter B.
Being used USR. Uh, Trigger. Um, Inverse trigger retaliation by other countries. Um, Same. The other three is gonna be another phrasal verb. So pass on, wipe on, slap on.
Yeah, one of those. What do you think?
Uh, I don't know the meaning of any of them.
Okay,
So
okay, don't worry about it. So we'll just okay. So we'll. This is where we're gonna learn. All right.
mhm.
So if we say sweeping U.S. tariffs pass on imports trigger retaliation by other countries, pass on. How about wipe on imports trigger or slap on imports? What do you think? So look at the article and think really hard what it's trying to say. Try to first contextualize yourself with the article because you need to also understand the rest, right? Not just the phrasal verb. You got to understand the article itself.
Yeah.
All right. So if you understood the article more, that you could have chosen um, a better word. So it says sweeping U.S. tariffs. What does that mean? Sweeping.
Like in that context, it's like to be changing them,
To do what?
like be changing them like all the time.
To be changing them?
Yeah, the tariff. I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sweeping. But what about All right. What about trigger retaliation? What about that?
It's like like to it's gonna like increase something, like make it like it's like an effect, so
What is a retaliation?
it's like something that happened based in a decision or something. So
That's not a very good way to say it. It's not a good way to say it in English.
okay.
What you said doesn't mean anything of what a retaliation is. It's a very ambiguous description, which is what you're giving me a Spanish description. It doesn't work in English like that.
um I don't know if he maybe like a penalty,
Yeah, penalty
something that
could be,
something
but
that you're gonna receive if you do something.
okay,
It's gonna be the result.
okay. The result of what?
Well, in this context, like like for example, I don't know, increase, for example, the tariff.
Okay. What about let me see, sweeping U.S. tariffs? Sweeping U.S. tariffs. And okay, let's take a look at the other one, letter C. Tariffs blank off 4.5 trillion in stock value, rattling investors as stocks plunge. What does it mean to plunge?
Plunge. I don't know that one.
Plunge
Plunge.
means to fall, like completely fall.
Okay.
Yeah, like fall, fall. But I don't mean just fall, but like quickly fall. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I would say in that case, it could be like wipe off.
Okay, what does wipe off mean in this case?
I would say I'm not sure because I don't know the meaning of wipe
Yeah,
off,
yeah, yeah.
but
But you're getting, yeah, you got it
for
right.
me, it sounds like tariff. I don't know how to explain it. Like
Yeah. So tariffs wipe.
like
Wipe off.
really affected the stocks.
Right.
Like
Right. Yes. It means it wipes them clean.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
So it wipes 4.5 trillion in stock clean. Yeah, and that wiping is what makes it the stocks. Yeah, they plunge. Yeah, in this case, it makes them go. Let's say it makes them subside. It makes them decrease. Right? We say plunge.
Mhm.
Okay. What about D? Tariffs increase
Okay.
costs. Will be on. Will be Tariffs increase costs will be
Pass on.
passed on. There you go. So that means that letter B is
Slapped on.
slapped on. Slapped. So sweeping U.S. tariffs slapped on imports. So what does it mean when you slap on?
Um,
It means that you barely immediately apply, execute the order. Yeah?
okay.
That means that enforced is what it means. Executed,
Okay.
enforced, put into law, to apply. Yes? The law is
Okay.
enforced.
Slap on is like in more in like
To put
like
to put into action.
okay.
That's what it means.
Okay.
And tariffs means to remove. Yes? You understand? Like remove, clean.
Yeah.
All right? And new tariffs force retailers to mark up. It just means increase. It's the same thing. Increase, to put into action, to clean. And what about letter D? What synonym can you give instead of putting passed on? What could you use?
Like a vet.
Yeah, will affect consumers, right?
Hmm.
There you go. Very good. Excellent. So now we got to. Oh crap. Duvan, I have to get going. Okay, I have another customer coming up.
Hmm.
So what I need you to do is I need you to think about a little more about what topics you would like to discuss for the future. All right.
Hmm.
While I try to find out um, what I can. Well, I try to find more of your mistakes. But so far, this presentation has shown me a lot about you. All right.
Hmm.
For example, we definitely know we got to work on phrasal verbs for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. And just the way you describe, this is just something small. This is just the tip of the iceberg for you.
Yeah.
All right. So we need to get going. When can I see you again?
How is your agenda right
Well,
now?
my agenda changes because I have customers rescheduling all the time. So you need to look at the schedule and see what there is at the moment of booking.
Right now, I'm pretty available because
Okay.
I'm not working.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. So take advantage.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So probably I will say that we can have another class next week, Monday or Tuesday even.
Okay, on Monday. So I'll see you on Monday then.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. I'm gonna check your agenda. Okay.
Very good. Very good. What was I gonna say? So I'm gonna try to organize like a lesson plan. Like
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Let me know what you think of it. But these are classes and lectures and discussions that you must take. That I recommend. You can
Okay.
customize it if you want, but this is what I recommend.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So I will see you on Monday, big boy.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you so
Take
much.
care. Thank you so much for your
You
time.
too. Okay. Thanks to you.
All right.
Have a good
Goodbye,
evening.
sir.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.